Hello and welcome back to another behind the scenes. My name is Josh. This is Contineofy. Today we're jumping back into Arrows. Today's video that we're specific that I'm going to highlight is the Arrows onboarding plans. This is one of those great, amazing things that I feel like every SaaS brand should have. I know customer success these days seems to go a whole bunch of different directions, and nobody's ever really quite sure what best practices is for onboarding people onto your platform. But if you want a really clean, organized way of allowing your CSMs to engage with customers and getting people those quick wins, getting them on the platform quickly, and achieving the things that your sales and marketing promise, Arrow's onboarding plans are great. Lack of words. Nothing sounds more like a sales promotion than they are great. Now I just got copyright infringement from Kellogg's. But yeah, today we're going to jump into Arrow's onboarding rooms. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So coming in, I'm going to take a step back here. Actually, you come in here, you hit templates, and just like the sales room, you're going to have this template that you can play from so that you don't have to necessarily go in and create a new onboarding process every single time. You'll have this catch up tab that also allows you to know what's going on with everybody in your onboarding process. So your CSMs can kind of jump in here real quick and see what people interact. It's almost like a news feed. But coming into templates, you can come in here and create a new template. You can copy from an existing one if you have something that's similar, or you can start with a blank, give it a name, choose your language. So you can do translations and then add a first category, which is kind of like the first phase of your template. So going into an example, I'm going to show you how I kind of built mine out for Contineofy. Again, it's something that you can kind of use from an inspirational standpoint. And also kind of go through and explain the different things that you can do with Arrows, and how this is all going to look and feel from a customer coming in. So when they first land, you can kind of have this opening message that, hey, we started today. And all of this you can set up in your settings for the dates that you can say as soon as this onboarding plan is created, you can set the start date, or you can kind of give it a delay. And then also you have the hopeful situation of when this onboarding is going to be done. Obviously, your CSM engagements are going to be a never-ending story as long as the customer's on your platform from a success and support standpoint. But at least the initial phase of onboarding onto your platform, and hopefully you can have a number of onboarding plans, knowing what the sales and where they came in from marketing, their quick win could be part of the onboarding plan so that they can get that win really fast, kind of create some stickiness on your platform and hopefully get back past that buyback period and drive some nice long LTV because they're like, wow, this platform actually delivered on what I wanted. So you could build specific onboarding plans that align with what sales and marketing discovered that this is the true pain point that this customer is trying to solve if your platform has a lot of capabilities. But jumping back into here, what's nice about the onboarding rooms is, yes, there's a lot of steps here, but you can create these gates that branch out. You can see like there's different phases. So they come in here, they see the welcome, they can say, hey, thanks for agreeing to work with Contineofy. I'm beyond excited to work with you. And then this kind of getting started is in the sales process, we had the contextual yes agreement that I want to work with you. But the first step of me getting started is that I have a payment link in HubSpot that I'll add into this room that allows them to link out and actually provide their credit card information or ACH or whatever they want to use to make that first payment. Upon that being completed, you'll see that this gets ticked off. Then we can schedule a kickoff call, which is a meeting embed that kind of is that kickoff call, trying to get everybody organized that I'm going to be working with, and kind of say, hey, this is who I am. And of course, realigning with the initial project that brought them to me in the first place to say, hey, like, this is what we're going to do. This is kind of like my first 30, 60, 90 days of where I think we should be going with this. Hopefully it'll be a lot faster than that, depending on the project. Who knows though? But just having a kickoff call to just kind of stir up some excitement, try to initiate the momentum and get people pumped up to be working with me and getting something done that's kind of been on their backlog or something that's been more troublesome for them. In some cases, you can have tasks in here that are required to be able to go on to the next phase. Some of them you can come in here and make it so that they're optional to be able to pass on to the next phase. For me, I have an optional one in here that's determining your OKRs. Hopefully in the sales process, I'll be able to ensure that we know what kind of projects we're working on. But I did build an OKR framework that anybody can have access to if they want. They don't necessarily have to be a customer, but I digress. But it allows you guys to build build out OKRs to kind of align if there's a lot of priorities. There's only so many things that we can do in a day. So determining the OKRs and alignment and kind of putting weight on priorities allows me to understand what to work on first if there's a lot of things that they want to do. That is an optional field, but if it's something that they want to do and I feel like we should be doing, I can kind of go through this process with them if they've never heard of OKRs on how to do it. I have a whole entire video series if you want to check it out on YouTube of going through OKRs, but then obviously there's the web application that we can actually create these and put weight on priorities. Once this is done, then we'll kind of give the first impression of like, hey, how was this? Are you excited to be working with me and the team? And then once they kind of give that feedback or address any concerns they may have, then this is where you can kind of put this lock in place that you can say when all previous or tasks are completed, then this next thing comes. Or you can do conditions, which I probably should have a condition thing in here, considering the OKRs is an optional field. So once they do all of this, the first getting started, then they unlock the second phase, which is, okay, I've gotten my first payment. We've scheduled our kickoff call. They give me a first impression of how it's been working with me. Then at this point, this is where I have my partner link from HubSpot that allows me to gain access to their platform and doesn't charge them a seat. And then on the back end, what's cool about these is that you can have like a little project management tool for your internal team. As you can see, this says internal only, that I can have tasks that once they give me access to their HubSpot, then I get triggered with a notification as the coordinator or owner, the CSM in some cases, that, hey, now there's stuff that I need to do. So instead of me having to worry about where they're at with this and kind of going back and forth with them, I can kind of almost ignore, like I get this new customer assigned to me as a CSM. I can kind of ignore all of this first initial stuff until they actually give me access to their HubSpot account, in which then I'll create a Asana project where we're managing all of the work that we're doing. And then I'm also inviting them to Slack if they have Slack. I'm inviting them and creating a Slack channel where we can have that more one-to-one conversation that's more ad hoc and at will versus having to do a bunch of emails back and forth or meetings. For the more nuanced or quick conversations, we can engage on Slack. Once these three things are done, then they can submit their first request, which is a form that I create in Asana, which allows them to start submitting requests. Obviously, then I get the Asana notifications and off to the races working on projects. Then after all of this is done, then we schedule a reoccurring strategy call. Obviously, most of my clients, I work with them on a weekly basis. We'll have I do agile methodology. So we get together once a week where we kind of go back and forth on things, give them updates, share blockers, celebrate wins, and then kind of reflect on the dashboarding and reporting so they can see how things are performing. And then after us working for a month, then I have a thing in here that says leave a review, which links out to testimonial, which if you haven't heard of testimonial, it's a great way to be able to collect a lot of your SaaS brands where you see that whole wall of love. That's testimonial.to, but I link out to that and then they can either submit a text-based or video-based review, at which then I can approve that rather quickly and have it forward facing on my website within a few clicks. So it kind of streamlines everything really nicely. As they're going through these tasks and phases, they're also getting email notifications that if they get behind on something, they'll get a notification that says, hey, like you need to work on this, you're behind. You can have full customization of all of these emails, which is really nice. This isn't something that you need to set up HubSpot workflows or any sequences or anything around this. You can have this all scheduled to come from your CSM so it's not just coming from a blank email. So at any point they reply, they're actually replying to their CSM. And then of course, if anybody gets blocked or anything, you can kind of see those previews, but a lot of that notifications is handled on the back end. You got your dates and you have your settings where you can kind of organize things and you can get notifications. And then the other thing that's really nice is that throughout these phases, you can actually sync it back to your HubSpot account. So ready for onboarding, they come in, the document is signed, then it switches, the phase is complete, getting started. Then we have the kickoff schedule, the scheduled kickoff phase task is completed. They give me HubSpot access. This phase is completed, ready for requests. They're ready to submit. The phase is completed, onboarding completed. This all reflects back into HubSpot. I created a deal flow. You can either align arrows with HubSpot on a deal flow or a ticket system, depending on which way you want to go. I created an additional pipeline. So as they're going through this process in HubSpot, I can see in a deal flow where different customers are in the process of signing the document, scheduling the kickoff, giving me access to HubSpot. I don't actually have to log into Arrows to see that. I can see it all within HubSpot. So as me onboarding clients or even your CSMs or your CSM director, they can kind of look at this HubSpot deal flow or ticket flow and understand how clients are getting onboarded. Are people getting stuck? That then you need to have a conversation with your CSM and be like, hey, why do you keep getting stuck in this situation? And helping them kind of learn to keep people moving forward so that they are getting those quick wins fast. And again, creating that stickiness for your platform. But you can save all of this automation so that as people are engaging with your Arrows onboarding, it's pushing everything back to HubSpot into that deal flow, as well as unlocking these additional phases in the onboarding process. And what's nice about this, just like the sales rooms, is that you don't need to continue as a CSM sending out manual one-off emails or scheduling a bunch of workflows in HubSpot to kind of onboard people. You can actually continue to just keep pushing them to this onboarding plan. And then, of course, all the email notifications are coming from Arrows, and you can set that up with all your DMARC status and everything so that all of those emails are going through. But it makes the onboarding process a lot nicer. Like I said, depending on the promises made with your sales and marketing team, you could have different onboarding plans that are specific to getting people to their first win at different points of your platform. And then, of course, once they get that win, then your CSM can be like, oh my gosh, like this is amazing. Like you got this success so fast. Way to hit that milestone. What do you want to work on next? And then at that point, share with them all the other things that they can do with your platform. So this is the Arrow sales onboarding process looks like, how it can create a better consistent experience as your new customers are coming on board your platform, keeping it all organized and just keeping people moving forward, that as they're taking bite-sized actions and completing them, all right, here's the next steps. They're not getting overwhelmed by coming into this plan and seeing all of this stuff that they have to do, or getting this whole long email of all of these things that they have to do. Another thing that you could do with these Arrows onboarding plans is that you could even introduce them to your knowledge base. You could introduce them to the support channel. You could introduce them to where to submit roadmap requests. There's all of this stuff that you can organize really nicely and allow people to have just a really good customer onboarding process, because a lot of times, like, you'll have great marketing, you'll have a great sales experience, and then for some reason it's not a dump on customer success. It's also still something that's fairly new and people are still trying to figure out. But these onboarding plans are a great first step to creating a very full customer lifestyle experience so that customers are raving about working with you and sharing your platform with your friends, in hopes that this will also increase referrals, because it is just a very clean, organized process. And Arrow's onboarding plans are the best way to go about this. So I hope you guys like this video. Be sure to hit like and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be sharing a lot of videos like this in the future as I'm unpacking different SaaS solutions that I'll be working with. If at any time you want to work with Contineofy, please jump out on the website, book a quick call with you. I'd love to work with you on Arrows or anything else that you're trying to do with HubSpot. We're certified partners on both sides, but yeah, it's an exciting time to be part of the HubSpot community. There's lots of partners like Arrows coming out of the woodwork and building things that are very, very niche down to SaaS solutions and helping you create a better experience for your customers. So as always, my name is Josh. This is Contineofy, a little behind the scenes. Until next time, keep building.